Right, so I had a subscriber spotlight from Smo today. I think he did it today. I had 2 subscribers almost immediately, and it's kind of urged me to sort my shit out. And what I mean by that is I don't get out on this often enough, and I'm a bit haphazard with uploading stuff. So I thought, I shouldn't need an excuse to come out on this. But today I have an excuse. Somebody commented on my my last video about the polite vest debacle discussion. That all that kind of stuff. Somebody commented about, obviously what we're striving towards is, well, I suppose it's like when I used to cycle, the evil cycling. I used to cycle in the kind of gear I would wear to court. So if I was hit by a car and we ended up in court with the person being done for dangerous driving, I would wear the same clothing that I was riding at the time he was hit me. So when he said, I'm sorry, Your Honour, but I just didn't see him, the jury and the judge would look at me, and I'd be head to toe in day glow lycra with reflective 3M strips everywhere and stuff, and him saying I didn't see him would just seem absolutely ridiculous. And I do the same thing with bikes, and I'm sure everyone does. But this guy was saying, even if you had a helicopter above you that was shining the spotlight on you, people would still say, I didn't see you. And then he made a mention about professional drivers and taxi drivers, and that kind of hit a nerve with me. I live in Salisbury, which isn't a big place at all. Well, I suppose its reputation, its position, and how it is makes you think it's quite big, but it's not. It's got a cathedral. It's near Stonehenge. It's a mecca for all different tourists from loads of countries come to Salisbury because of the cathedral, the Magna Carta, and so on and so on. But the town itself isn't massive. What it does have, for a medium sort of city town, it does have an extraordinary high percentage of taxis. They're everywhere, and this guy was saying, called them professional drivers, and I don't think they are, because not because there's too many of them, but I don't think they're the taxi drivers as I would know them when I was young, So those guys were proper career taxi drivers, whereas I think these guys are. It's one of the self-employed things you can do. In this I don't know why they call it a gig economy, but it's one of the self-employed things you can do. Taxi driver. So I'm just gonna pootle through Salisbury. Now, granted, I am gonna go past taxi ranks and stuff, but I believe that the taxis we're talking about, I think they're private hire. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to pre-book those. I'm fairly sure you have to ring up. So, they would. I find it strange that they would be all gathered in the same place if you have to pre-book them. And that's why some people come to Salisbury. Taxi! Taxi!
Bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bring me a dream.
So at the end of this road, when we turn left, is where they all hang out, like a pack of teenagers. Look, here they are. That's not a taxi place. Another taxi.
The cutest that I've ever seen. Bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Does anyone else think, why do we need so many taxi drivers? I don't get it. Why? What? Where are all the people that are going to be in these taxis? What are they doing? Who are you dropping off? That's a drop-off zone, that. Muddy funkster. What am I just having a downer on taxi drivers, or are there too many of them? The kind of profession. Do you not think the profession would be diluted? So, before I get home, I want to summarise. Summarise? That sounds a bit shit, doesn't it? So, I don't have a drama with taxi drivers. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I do actually. I think the issue is when I was younger, taxi drivers were professional drivers, You know, you're probably going to have the same one, you know, in the same sort of area, or when you booked it and stuff, because they weren't all over the place. You know, they kind of knew that, you know, they're a taxi driver, so they're driving for a living. So you would kind of give them a bit of room and a bit of space, and that, you know, you'd accept the fact that they were a bit, you know, I wouldn't say aggressive with their driving, but they were progressive with their driving. You'd kind of get that. But I think they respected the rules of the road more. But I don't get the same impression with the current crop of taxi drivers. I think because there's so many of them, and I suspect they're all vying for the same number of fares, so they're spreading it a lot thinner. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say they're more ruthless, but they just seem a bit overly aggressive. You know, like they I would never have sort of used the travelling round in packs analogy with taxi drivers when you know, a couple of years ago, but now it's like they've turned feral. Just like the taxi drivers have turned feral, and they're out to get whatever they can, until somebody realises what's going on and regulates it a bit more. You know, until somebody at the Wiltshire Council, where anyone's local council suddenly realises, hey, do you know we've now got more taxi drivers than we have actual population. You know, until they kind of realise that there's something a bit stupid going on. I think it's gonna get a bit worse. You know. Yeah, I think there should be less taxi drivers, you know, and a higher quality. Why didn't he nod? Maybe I don't know. How very, very, very rude.